We continue now at the top of Daf Yomi and Beis in Meseches Shabbos. This is Shabbos Daf 5b. The Gemara just left off that Rava made a statement that a slanted wall, if something rests on a slanted wall, that could be considered a hanacha. And the Gemara said that Rava made that statement in a different context, and it's on the following Mishnah. Hayakori b'sefer al hiskopo. Let's say a person is reading a sefer. He's up on a porch. He's up a hive, and iskalgel hasefer miyado, and the sefer rolls out of his hand. Go lo etzlo. He should roll it back up to himself. Hayakore b'rosh hagag. If he's on top of a roof, iskalgel hasefer miyado, and then the sefer rolls out of his hand. So ad shelo higia liyud tvachim. If it hasn't reached 10 tvachim to the earth, go lo etzlo, can roll it back. However, mishigia liyud tvachim, but once it reaches within 10 tvachim of the ground, hovcho alaksav, then already he's got to turn it over. The idea here is that if it reaches within 10 tvachim of the ground, so he's sitting up there on top of in a rishus hayachid, and it's considered within a rishus harabim, and so there you're going to have a problem of carrying from rishus harabim to rishus hayachid, and so therefore he's got to just turn it over. He can't do it on Shabbos. Rashi explains a little bit more clearly here. Go lo etzlo v'perek basar to eruv and mukim la bi'eskopis karmelis. So in the first case where he was allowed to roll it back to himself, there the escopus, this platform he was on, it has the status of a karmelis. Kagon, I said it was like a porch, but it's like a platform. Kagon gavoy yud v'rach v'dalet. It's like 3 high, 4 wide, so it's not high enough to be considered rishus hayachid. It's only considered karmelis. Rishus harabim overis lefanim, and there's rishus harabim right in front of him. Dinafa kulim yadim mahadrilim rishus harabim leskopa lavchi of chatas. Even if he would carry directly from the rishus harabim, fully from the rishus harabim to the skopa, it's not a chi of chatas. It's a derabon. It's a karmelis. Hilkach hashta derosho echad biyado. So now in this case, where he's even holding one part of the sefer, v'en kan akira, and there's not even really an akira, so afilim mishum shvus nami lo gazer. So then even it's not even a derabon, and they didn't make a gzer at all. But hayakori b'rosh hagag, if he's on a roof, which is a rishus hayachid, Rashi says shu rishus hayachid min eskalgal hasefer miyado v'rosho echad biyado, and it rolls out, and he has one side in his hand, and the rest is down below. So ad shelo igia rosh hatachton, if the bottom of the sefer did not get liyud hatachton shu aver rishus harabim, go lo etzlo. If it didn't get to rishus harabim, so you don't have a problem. However, higia liyud, once it reaches within 10 tvachim of the earth, it's now in rishus harabim. Asur legololo degazer rabbanon mishum shvus. It's only the rabbanon. It's not the rice because he's holding one side in his hand. But the rabbanon said it's a shvus. Because if we let you roll it back, then you're going to do it when the whole thing falls out of your hand. The lo laise dika chi of do rice. We don't want him to come to a chi of do rice. Fine. So, and the reason why he turns it over, Rashi says, shelo yehei mutal kol kach bebizayin. If he doesn't turn the sefer over, it's a bizayin. It's not a nice way to treat the sefer. So in any case, though, the Gemara says, well, what's going on? There's no hanach over here anyway. So what's at all the issue of carrying? Why do you think it should be any issue of carrying? But we ask over here, why does he have to turn it over? It never even came to rest. He should be allowed to roll it right back up, even if it ends up in rishus harabim. So that's where Rava made his statement. V'yamar Rava. So Rava said, "Bekosel meshupa." We're talking about it's a slanted wall. There's a hanach on the wall. So the Gemara is still not happy to compare this case of Rava to the case of the previous Amud, which was dealing with water. When you have rainwater that falls on a slanted wall, where we were saying before that that's also considered to be it's munach, and it's considered to be a hanacha, that if you should take it out from there, it's an isser. So the Gemara says, "Amar da'amar Rava b'sefer da'avid denayich." I understand Rava said when a sefer comes to rest on a slanted wall, that's a normal hanacha. Ma'ayim mi avidi denayich, water never comes to rest. Why should that be considered a hanacha even on a slanted wall? El amar Rava, rather Rava says, "Shekalat me'al gavi guma." Change the case again. It rained. It fell into a little pit. You picked up the water from a pit, and now that's a real true hanacha, and you pick it up from there, you take it out to the rishus harabim, you're going to have a problem. So the Gemara says, guma, pshita. So if it fell into a guma, it's obvious that that's hanacha. That's so obvious it doesn't need to be said. So it has nothing to do with rainwater anymore. The Gemara says, no, ma'u detema mayim al gabi mayim lav hanacha. I might have thought that when water falls on other water, that's not a hanacha. Kamash Malon, that's considered a hanacha. V'yaz the Rava l'taime, and in this Rava follows his own reasoning. The Amar Rava, because Rava says mayim al gabe mayim hainu hanachas, and when water falls on water, that's considered a hanacha. Egos al gabe mayim lav hainu hanachas. However, if a nut falls on top of water, it's floating, that's not called a hanacha. Boy, Rava asked, Egos bekliu, kli tzaf al gabe mayim. What if you have a nut inside a utensil which is floating in the water? There, what's the halacha? Basar egos azlinan v'hanayich. Do we follow the egos, the nut, and we say it is at rest in the kli? Or maybe we look at the kli, we say that's not at rest because it's in the water. Deny it, it's moving around. Take with that, Rava left as a question. Another issue, shemen shetzafa gabe yayin. What if you have oil floating on top of wine? Machlokas Rabbi Yochanan ben Nuri v'Rabbanan. That is going to be a machlokas Rabbi Yochanan ben Nuri and the Rabbanan, whether or not it's considered a hanacha. That's not because we learned in the Mishnah, shemen shetzafa gabe yayin. If you have oil floating on top of wine, v'nagat tvul yom b'shemen. Somebody who's tamei, he's a tvul yom, touches the oil. Lo pasal el shemen bilvad. According to the Tanakama, only the shemen becomes tamei. Rabbi Yochanan ben Nuri, Rabbi Yochanan ben Nuri says shneim mechubarim zelazeh. They're both considered attached, and just like Rabbi Yochanan ben Nuri says the entire liquid, both the oil and the wine, become tamei, he would also say that it's considered a hanacha. The oil on top of the wine is considered munach. Amar Rabbi Avin, Amar Rabbi Eloi, Amar Rabbi Yochanan. Rabbi Avin says in the name of Rabbi Eloi, in the name of Rabbi Yochanan, Hayaton ochlim umashkin v'nichnas v'yotze kol hayom kulu. Let's say a person has a load on him of food and drinks, and he's walking around all day. Eino chayiv ad sheyamod. He's not chayiv until he stands in his place and then takes it out. Rashi here explains this is really an issue of meleches machsheves. The idea here is when he originally started walking, he wasn't thinking of transporting the item from one rishus to another. And then he decides in the middle while he's walking around that he's going to walk outside to the Rosh Hashanah. The original akir was not on the for the purpose of going out, so it's not considered meleches machsheves, and he's not chayiv. However, if he's yamod, if he stops, he rests, he comes to rest, and then he uproots himself on the knowledge that he's going to go out to the Rosh Hashanah, and he goes out to the Rosh Hashanah, that's when he becomes chayiv. Now, what's considered resting? Amar Abaye v'hu she'amid lafush. It only counts as resting if the person stands in order to actually rest his body because he's becoming weary. However, if the person, as we're going to see in a moment, let's say the person stops for other reasons. He's not doing it to rest his body. He's doing it in order to get the things on his shoulder properly to keep moving. That would not be considered a hanacha at all. That wouldn't be considered stopping. Mimai, how do we know this? Mida Amar Mar, because the master said, Toch Dalet Amos. Let's say a person's walking 4 amos in Rosh Hashanah, and within the 4 amos, Amud Lafush, he stops to rest, putter. So then he's considered putter because it's actually considered that he went less than 4 amos and started again and went less than 4 amos. It's like he split up the 4 amos into groups that were smaller than 4 amos. However, so you see that that's considered a real hanacha. Now on the other hand, if he's walking 4 amos, he stops in the middle of the 4 amos in order to put the things on his shoulder properly, then he would be considered chayiv because that's not really considered stopping. And in contrast, chutz l'dalet amos, let's say he's walking outside of dalet amos, he's already made it past dalet amos, so in such a situation, amad lafush chayiv, then when he stands to rest, he's chayiv because he's actually stopping and he's done 4 amos. L'chase pater, however, if he stops just to adjust things on his shoulder, that's not really considered stopping, he's considered to continue moving, and he's pater because he hasn't yet come to a hanacha. You have to do it, you have to actually stop to rest in order to be chayiv for it to be a hanacha. Okay, so that is the statement of Rabbi Yochanan. Again, you're carrying around this food and drink all day, so you're not chayiv until you stop, because otherwise it's not considered an original akira for the purpose of bringing this stuff outside. So the Gemara says, "My kamashwan, what's the chiddush? Shelo haisa akira mishar rishon lakach." The whole chiddush here is that since he didn't do the original akira for that purpose, he's pater. Ha'amar Rabbi Yochanan chadazimna. Rabbi Yochanan already said that chiddush. The Amar Rav Safar, Amar Rav Ami, Amar Rabbi Yochanan, because Rav Safar said in the name of Rav Ami, in the name of Rabbi Yochanan, Hamavir chafotzim mizavis lezavis v'nimlach alein v'otzian pater. It says, let's say a person is carrying objects inside his house, one corner to the other corner, then in the middle he decides to take it outside, he's pater. Shelo haisa akira mishar rishon lakach, because he originally didn't pick it up for the purpose of going out to the Rosh Hashanah. Exact same halacha, just said in a slightly different case. So the Gemara answers, Amorai ninu. The truth is, there was different Amoraim within Rabbi Yochanan. If we saw before, it was Rabbi Avin in the name of Rabbi Eloi in the name of Rabbi Yochanan. Here it was Rav Safra in the name of Rabbi Ami in the name of Rabbi Ami in the name of Rabbi Yochanan. So it's different Amoraim quoting Rabbi Yochanan. Mar Amar La B'Hai Lishno. Mar Amar La B'Hai Lishno. One said it in one language, the other said it in another language. In other words, slight variation of cases, but they essentially said the same chiddush from Rabbi Yochanan. The Gemara now continues at the 2 dots. Tan Rabbanan, we learned in a brisa. Hamotzi mechanus leplatia derech stav chayiv. Let's say a person takes something out from a store to the platia. Now Rashi explains that a platia is really just a street. It's a Rosh Hashanah. So he's carrying from the chanus, the private area, the Rosh Hashanah, to the Rosh Hashanah, and he's going derech stav chayiv. Rashi explains here, what's derech stav? Derech stav, Makom itztabos sheyoshvim sochrim v'shem karmelis oleh. This is an area of platforms where the merchants would stand, and those platforms have a status of a karmelis, because they're not made for walking. It's not made for the public. The public don't walk through those areas. So what you have here is a situation where he's essentially transporting something from a Rishus HaYachid to a Rishus HaRabban, but he's going through a karmelis, through an area that's D'Rabbanan. So the Tanna Kama says chayiv, uben azai poter. Tanna Kama says in such a case, you're chayiv. The fact that you went through a karmelis does not interrupt. Ben Azai says poter, because you went through a karmelis, it's considered like you stopped in the karmelis and then went from the karmelis to Rishus HaRabban, so he's poter. Bishlam ben Azai kosavar mahalech kol medami. So the Gemara says, I understand Ben Azai. He holds that while you're walking, it's like you stopped. So in other words, it's as if you stopped in the karmelis. So again, if you went from Rishus HaYachid to Karmelis, it's not a chiyuv because it's a D'Rabbanan. If you went from Karmelis to Rishus HaRabban, it's not a chiyuv because it's a D'Rabbanan. So that's fine. El Rabbanan, but according to Rabbanan, nihi nami to kasavri mahalech lavka omed dami. Even if you say that walking is not considered like he stopped in the middle, still hecha eshkachna ki agavna d'chayv. We still don't find, or where do we find such a situation that you're chayiv? In other words, we only find cases from the Mishkan. The classic cases of Otzah are going directly from Rishus HaYachid to Rishus HaRabban. We don't find that if you go from a Rishus HaYachid through a Karmelis to a Rishus HaRabban that you're chayiv. So where's the source for this chiyuv? Amar of Safra, Amar of Ami, Amar of Yochanan. So Rav Safra says, in the name of Reb Ami, in the name of Reb Yochanan, the Gemara will now continue. The Gemara will continue on in the next daf, Daf Vav Amar Aleph. In the next video, we'll see the answer to this question.